that does it, and that's just the clients. That's my bodyguard, Gloria Kendall, alias Brenda Barraclough, announced to the entire cast and crew of Northerners. We'd all worked out it wasn't your body double, the actress playing Carla said, apparently as sour in life as the character she played in the human drama that had wowed British audiences for the best part of 20 years. Let's hope you only get attacked by midgets, Terry Edwards added. He'd once been a stand-up comedian on the working men's club circuit, but he'd clearly been playing Gloria's screen husband for so long that he'd lost any comic talent he'd ever possessed. I might only be 5'3" in my socks, but I wouldn't have needed to use too many of my Thai boxing skills to bring a lump of lad like him to his knees. I gave him the hard stare, and I'm petty enough to admit I enjoyed it when he cleared his throat and looked away. All right, settle down, the director called. Places, please, and let's take it again from the top of the scene. Can we have a bit of hush back there? Someone else added. I wondered what his job title was and how long I'd have to hang around the TV studios before I worked out who did what in a hierarchy that included best boys, gaffers, and too many golfers to count. I figured I'd probably have long enough, the way things were going. There was a lot of time for idle reflection in this job. When Gloria was filming, silence was the rule. I couldn't ask questions, eavesdrop, or burgle in pursuit of the information I needed to close the case. All there was for me to do was lean against the wall and watch. There was nothing remotely glamorous about witnessing the 7th take of a scene that was a long way from Shakespeare to start with. As jobs went, minding the Queen of the Nation's soaps was about as exotic as watching rain slide down a window. It hadn't started out that way. When Gloria had swanned into our office, I'd known straight off it wasn't going to be a routine case. At Brannigan Co, the private investigation firm that I run, we cover a wide spectrum of work. Previously, when I'd been in partnership with Bill Mortensen, we'd mostly investigated white-collar fraud, computer security, industrial espionage and sabotage, with a bit of miscellaneous meddling that friends occasionally dropped in our laps. Now Bill had moved to Australia, I'd had to cast my net wider to survive. I'd clawed back some process serving from a handful of law firms, added surveillance to the letterheading, and canvassed insurance companies for work exposing fraudulent claims. Even so, Gloria Kendall's arrival in our front office signalled something well out of the ordinary. Not that I'd recognised her straight away. Neither had Shelley, the office administrator, and she's got the X-ray vision of every mother of teenagers. My first thought when Gloria had swept through the door on a wave of Estee Lauder's white linen was that she was a domestic violence victim. I couldn't think of another reason for the wide-brimmed hat and the wraparound sunglasses on a wet December afternoon in Manchester. I'd been looking over Shelley's shoulder at some information she'd downloaded from Company's House when the woman had pushed open the door and paused, dramatically framed against the hallway. She waited long enough for us to look up and register the expensive swagger of her Mac and the quality of the Kelly green silk suit underneath. Then she took 3 measured steps into the room on low-heeled pumps that precisely matched the suit. I don't know about Shelley, but I suspect my astonishment showed. There was an air of expectancy in the woman's pose. Shelley's, "Can I help you?" did nothing to diminish it. The woman smiled, parting perfectly painted lips the colour of tinned black cherries. "I hope you can, Chuck," she said, and her secret was out. "Gloria Kendall," I said. "Brenda Barraclough," Shelley said simultaneously. Gloria chuckled. "You're both right, girls, but we'll just let that be our little secret, eh?" I nodded blankly. The only way her identity was ever going to stay secret was if she kept her mouth shut. It was clear from 3 short sentences that the voice that had made Brenda Barraclough the darling of impressionists the length and breadth of the comedy circuit wasn't something Gloria took on and cast off as readily as her character's trademark bottle-blonde beehive wig. Gloria really did talk in broad North Manchester with the gravelly growl of a bulldozer in low gear. "How can I help you, Miss Kendall?" I asked, remembering my manners and stepping out from behind the reception desk. She might not be a CEO in a grey suit, but she clearly had enough in the bank to make sure we all had a very happy Christmas. "Call me Gloria, Chuck. In fact, call me anything except Brenda." After 20 years of